if you don't do any prison ministry in your life, there's a curse reserved for it. It's not my fault. I didn't do this. I don't want the curse upon you. But and they shall answer and say, saying, Master, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not serve you? And he shall answer them, saying, Amen. I say to you, insofar as you did not do it to the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, and the righteous in everlasting life. Those are the words of the Messiah. I can't change them, and they're a fact. And everybody needs to do prison ministry.
Torah life ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Neese from Torah Life Ministries. I'm so happy to have so many different guests join me here on the show, and I'm really excited about today's guest. My friend Jeff and his friends are here joining us to tell you about a very special ministry. And it's always been on my heart the idea of prison ministry. And when I look at Yeshua and look at the things he says and just look at, in general, the principles of Scripture, prison ministry, I think, is one of the most neglected ministries out there today. So Brother Jeff is going to explain to you a little bit about prison ministry and something really special. And folks, we cannot forget people that are in prison. And this is a biblical mandate that we remember them. And Jeff's going to get more into his passion and this ministry and introduce us to his friends and family. So, Brother Jeff, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm passionate about prison ministry. Anybody that talks to me knows that. It's most of my conversation. And it's where my heart lies and what my mission is, and as well as these people you see with me and others that work with Sabbath Keepers Fellowship and prison ministry. Messiah says in chapter 25 that we're to minister to and take care of those that are sick and in prison. A lot of sick people are taken care of. The widows and orphans are generally looked after. Prison ministry, not so much. Not so much at all. And I get that. I understand that prison ministry can seem distasteful to a lot of people. These are people that have done wrong. They've made mistakes, or maybe they weren't mistakes. Maybe they did something just absolutely deliberately. And, with TV and the news and everything else that we see, people have a bad taste for prisoners, and it's intended that they should. So that doesn't stop the need for these people being cared for. The prisoners that write to us, that are in prison communities of faith across this country, I've known many of them, hundreds of them personally. Most all of them are very sincere in their faith. Most of them know the Bible and know how to conduct their faith and their services, are more familiar with prophecy and the Torah and commandments, are more observant than most of the people I've met out here outside of prison. That sounds like a pretty outrageous claim, but it's true. When you're in prison and you profess to be an observant, Torah observant person of faith in Messiah, there's nowhere for you to go behind closed doors. There's no place you can hide. Everybody sees you all the time. And if you're not observant, they're going to know it. And you're not going to get by with that. These guys are under the microscope 24/7, and gals. And so I have a lot of respect for them, a lot of love for them. And even though these things are true, they're the least cared for of all of our brothers and sisters. and they are brothers and sisters. They live in your neighborhood, or will, or did, and they may or may not be coming back to your neighborhood. And even if they don't, they need to be taken care of. There are things they just can't do for themselves. Sabbath Keepers Fellowship and Prison Ministry has been around since 96. We've got about 3,000 members in 41 states. I think 400 prisons. Is that right? About 400 prisons now. A lot of people, a lot of believers. We get loads of mail every day and requests for the things that we provide. And real quick, I'll show you some of the things we provide so you know.
Well, can I just ask?
Go ahead.
So I want you to talk about what you provide and so on, but what makes or how does a person that wants to connect with prison ministries, like I have a ministry, I have a radio show, and people in jail contact me. People know about you. They might contact you through the material get out. But let's say there's somebody watching right now, and they agree prison ministry should be something we don't need to do more of. How do, in your experience, how does a person get started in that? Do they contact a particular prison, or do they contact an organization like yours? What's 2 or 3 ways the average person can connect and get involved?
Well, that's part of the problem, Paul. You can't just call a prison and say, I want to help out and I want to be in prison ministry or come into people. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of paperwork. Often they have most of them have orientation classes that a person has to go through. And then they have to assign you a place and so on and so forth. The easiest way to do it is through a prison ministry like ours. We can grease the skids for people, so to speak. We know the prisons, the wardens, the chaplains, the state officials, and we help orchestrate that. We coordinate a lot of volunteers and their efforts, help them out when they get into rough spots or questionable areas. And we provide them materials as well. So it's not easy to just jump in. We have a list on our website of inmates that can be written as pen pals. We can connect people, but otherwise, unless you're doing this work, they just don't make it easy for you to get in. And that might be part of the problem as well. I'm sure it is.
Okay, and I know there's a tremendous amount in the Christian community of organizations like yourself that try to do some form of prison ministry, but yours is particularly special because the name of your ministry is Sabbath Keepers, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is different than the average Christian ministry, and there are a lot of people in prison that are discovering the Bible. But again, you get this issue of Christianity without the Sabbath, and then you got the Sabbath, which is such an important part. So that just makes this all so much more special, what you're doing. And in no way do I take away from those ministries, because it's a great thing when everyone's doing prison ministry. But the fact that you're doing it and doing it closer to the true scriptures, I think makes it a really special thing. And it's unique because there's not too many of these many prison ministries out there doing the Sabbath and even the feast days and Passover and things like this. So we can learn about prison ministry through you, but there's many ministries out there. But tell us a little about Sabbath Keepers ministry and why the element of the Sabbath and the feast days. We know from a scriptural standpoint why, but why, just tell us how that began and how that continues.
Well, first of all, you're right. There are a lot of mainstream Christian prison ministries out there. They're well funded. They have lots of members. They have a lot of favor with the prison systems, whose administrators are usually mainstream Christian. And as a result of that, those that keep the Sabbath and the festivals are neglected. There isn't a lot of support. There's almost no support for those inmates that have chosen to keep the Sabbath and the festivals and try to be Torah observant to some degree or another. Very little support at all. And in my opinion, and it's something that I say that most people they take issue with, people don't like to hear. I think it's a shame to us. I think it's a shame that people who proclaim to have the truth and keep the Sabbath and the laws aren't the ones with the biggest prison ministry in helping those folks out. In fact, we're the worst. There's no faith that I know of that has less support than Sabbath keeping, Messianic Hebrew roots, the Yahweh's assemblies, and we serve them all. We serve any inmate that keeps the seventh day Sabbath, and we always have. But yeah, so
yeah. So how do these people? I want you to show us like what you offer the prisoners, because you were about to show us before. But before that, how do they find you? So let's say they're reading the Bible and they say, this is the light. This is what I want to follow. From there, how do they find you? We know you got your foot in there in many places already, and a lot of people know about you, and some of it's word of mouth. But how would they go about finding you if they don't know about your website or know about you?
If you Google us, we come up first on the list for Sabbath keeping prison ministries. If you can just put Sabbath Keepers Fellowship and Prison Ministry in, and you can get to us through the website, sabbathkeepersfellowship.org. We have a Facebook page, sabbathkeepersfellowship.org, and or just Sabbath Keepers Fellowship and Prison Ministry. We have where we congregate with our volunteers and others that support us is called the Min Hazaqen Torah Study Group. I know that's a mouthful. On Facebook, right? It's a group. MIN HAZAQEN Min Hazaqen Torah Study Group, and that's where we kind of congregate. You can get question answered. We have tons of resources and materials. In fact, we also have a library in the unit section with all of the things, virtually all of the things that we give out to the prisoners as well, so they can see what that is and what exactly it is we do. That would be the best way to contact us. Or the phone number. You can call us. It's always answered. 903-489-1930.
Great. And you were going to show us earlier, you were holding up something, some of the resources you provide.
Well, a lot of people here, you do prison ministry and you send in stuff, and they don't really realize what all we're doing. Have a basket of mail? No? They did their job. They answered all the mail for the day. We usually have a huge basket of mail that comes every day. And that's prisoners asking questions either about stuff that they want, scriptural questions, yes, and or just general requests. First thing, we have a newsletter, Freedom's Call newsletter, that we send. It's several pages of teachings and forms, and we have Hebrew puzzles and a lot of things that they can use usually in the season whenever that newsletter happens to be coming out. We have a calendar we produce, the Complete Believers calendar, and it gives them the dates, the parashah, the Torah study reading, and New Testament readings for each Sabbath. It gives them the festival days and a little bit of information on each one of those things.
So how does it work? So let's say, every now and then for my radio show, a prisoner may call me or send me a letter in the mail, or somebody that's watching right now, they might know somebody in prison. Do they contact you and then you send your resource package out? Is that how it works, or how does exactly this?
Sure. Anybody can call, and we always answer the phone number that I gave you. We don't just take a message. Inmates write us, Box 972, Malakoff, Texas, Sabbath Keepers Fellowship. The zip is 75148. Anybody that knows a prisoner or wants to have something sent to them can contact us at that address or by the phone number on the website. or the inmates can write us direct. It's any way is fine with us.
Well, wonderful. Well, I'm definitely going to get this information out because it's so important. And it's there's something else that you're doing that's really special that I want to talk about as well. And by the way, I'm going to put your website and contact information below the video, so anyone knows anyone for any reason that's in prison, whether they're a believer or not. This information, I think, will bless them tremendously. And sometimes people need to uh, be there to be able to slow down and have time to focus on this stuff. So I think Yahweh's working and he knows things. But, the feast days, how do you keep the feast days if you're in prison, right? Well, tell us about this special thing that you're doing and to try to help that happen.
Okay. Our biggest program each year is for the Passover and the Fast of Unleavened Bread. You're familiar with the Fast of Unleavened Bread?
Yeah, well, the fast of unleavened bread?
If you're in prison, it's a fast. It's not a feast.
Okay.
They got bread for every meal.
You have to eat unleavened. Everything has leaven in it in prison. They put some kind of yeast or leavening agent in just about all the food. They usually don't have the option to buy any of the elements that are used at Passover. And it's hard. I mean, the first thing that you need to know that it's keeping a festival, and especially Passover, is incredibly hard in prison. You're usually by yourself. If you're really blessed, you have a service with others of your faith. If the chaplains allow it on that unit, and they don't all allow it. Trying to get rid of all the leavened products in a cell sounds like an easy thing to do, but it's quite a process because of that's all they provide. I mean, if you want toothpaste or anything else, you can't just get something unleavened. Obviously, not all prisons have matzah as an item for sale or any kind of unleavened bread, and the command says to eat matzah 7 days. You need to have some kind of thing to drink when you keep your Seder, and bitter herbs. Where are you going to get bitter herbs in prison? And a lot of the guys are new to the faith. Well, probably half of them are new and really don't know what to do, how to accomplish and keep the Passover and do it in prison. So they need some kind of instruction booklet, and as you know, that's called a Haggadah, which means the telling of the story of Passover. And so they don't have these things, and each year we send in hundreds or thousands of packages like this. This is a Passover package. It's got a Haggadah that we produce that has the Messiah's. The Messiah is included in it, unlike many of them. A couple of small bottles of juice for their Seder, and a box of matzah, and a small package of horseradish. We started this program back in about 2011, and we were the only ones doing it. It just took off, and the prisoners swamped us with requests, and they still do. Now there are some other ministries that have picked up the ball in their local areas and are delivering, being allowed to deliver these things into the prisons. But at that point, when we started, we had to really break some ice to get inside the prisons and get these things allowed.
And even though your ministry's in Texas, anywhere in the country, if people are allowed to receive stuff, you'll find a way to get it to them.
If the chaplains and the wardens will allow it, we'll get it in. And when we call them, an inmate writes us and requests a package. If they're not on our regular mailing list or not in a prison that we already serve, of course, we have to contact the chaplain, sometimes the warden. Sometimes we have to go up, higher up to other state officials to get the thing approved, but we'll do whatever we can to try and get that stuff into those prisoners.
And that's what's so wonderful about your ministry, is because of your experience, you know how to do that, and you know who to call, what to say, and who to speak to, and it's it's really special. Yeah, I was blessed you with that ability to do that. So I want to encourage everyone, if you know someone in prison, whether they're uh, believers of the faith or even not, this is a great witnessing tool, but it's a great encouragement for people, whether they're new or doing this a long time. And it's such a blessing and not spoken about enough. And I definitely know that you all and I are going to be doing more stuff in the future, but I want people that are watching right now to really read the scriptures and understand what the scriptures say about being using your gifts. And we're all blessed and gifted to be able to help others, and especially in this area. I want you all to contact this ministry here, to link below the video, and just ask them where's their need and how you could help them. And I promise you all, you will be blessed by our Creator for doing so. It's a tremendous blessing. And yeah, so please do that. And yes.
It will be a blessing for anybody that does it. I can't think of any person that's ever become involved with us or gotten to know us that hasn't just been amazed at what they see when they get to know the ministry and come here and see what we do, or start helping in some other way. Yvette was one of the common people that did not have any use for a prisoner or wasn't doing any prison ministry. And we spoke a couple of years ago, and she can tell you, if you want to hear, just how that changed her life. I can tell you that you'll be blessed for doing prison ministry. And if everybody doesn't send in a donation or help us out, then we get to retire and quit. And we don't have to do all this anymore. We don't take any pay for this. We live we live as common folks and with not a lot of physical or material things, and we put everything we have. We don't take any pay, not a nickel for what we do. Put everything we have into this. And he's given this to us as our gift and our mission. We can't turn our backs on it unless everybody turns their backs on us and we don't have anything to work with. We understand that everybody can't go into prisons. We understand that everybody doesn't know how, hasn't the time, or whatever be your reason, but we do that for you. We send volunteers into the prisons to hold services. We supply Passover packages. We supply books and Bibles, concordances. We supply talatoth for those that wear tzitzit, even a kippah for those that wear those. We do those things. We don't just send in a newsletter or some kind of teaching. We go all the way and send them everything. But we can't do it without your help. We just can't.
I have a question. I have a question. Sure. So if somebody is new to this experience, let's say somebody close to them is in prison and they're trying to learn how to just go through the process of even visiting them to giving them stuff, not, I'm talking about somebody locally, that somebody they personally know, not just through the ministry. Do you help them with advice or suggestions on how to do that?
Oh, yeah. Most people that don't have prison or prison ministry, even on their radar, and they have a loved one or somebody they know who goes to prison, it changes their life. They have to learn all these things, and quite often they call here, and usually Lisa gets that call, or any of us, and we'll speak to them and try and counsel them, help them in any way we can, kind of show them the ropes.
Yeah, I think in just the ministry alone, I think it's very important and helpful for people to include this in their thoughts and prayers, and also, it's an important thing. I just remember in the scriptures, when I was in jail, who came to visit me, and so on. It's just, I thank you. I thank you all for doing what you're doing, and I know it takes a tremendous amount of time, and thank you for being trailblazers, because I know there are other people out there that in the future will be blessed by this video and your ministry. And thank you for your humility, because I know it's not about you. I know it's all about just helping others. And I could just tell, and I just know.
They can't do for themselves.
Yes.
And if nothing else, please, we pray for the prisoners every day here. Send your prayers up for those people, because they're your brothers and sisters, no doubt. They're not just strangers. They're not distant or apart from you, but they're your brothers and sisters, and they deserve your help, and you owe it to them. The Torah says, if you see your brother in need, you don't close your hand to your needy brother. We're their voice, because they can't speak out loud in public. They need your help.
Okay. Yeah, well, I appreciate you all taking the time out to come out and talk about this, because I know how busy you are all day long with this ministry. And I think what you're doing is very special. And again, I want people to contact you at the link below the video. And remember, the Passover packages. Passover is coming up again real soon here. So there's a place on the website to donate, and also get involved any way they can use your help. So please contact them, and you can call them. They answer their phone. Every time I've contacted them, they've answered. So thank you for what you're doing, and may Yahweh bless this ministry and the work you're doing, and may He keep you all just blessed and humble as well. I really appreciate you all.
We appreciate your charity toward us and for helping us get the message out. Few others are doing it. We thanks.
Praise Yah, praise Yah. Thank you. And everybody, thanks for watching. And this is important, so I'm glad we did it. So shalom, shalom.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways. Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world.